We love music. You are locked into Six Towns Radio.
Guest number 2 on the show today is on the line waiting for me right now. Hello to Barney from Sonic Boom 6. How are you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not bad at all. Great Manchester accent. I love it.
Sorry, you're breaking up there. I don't know if this phone connection is quite what it needs to be.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect. Am I okay now? Can you hear me now?
It keeps breaking up. I heard Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester.
Maybe if you speak a little bit slower, I'll be able to get it. It's just going in and out, so...
Okay. I've just said you're a Manchester lad and you've got a great accent.
Oh, right, yeah, well, yeah, I've tried to... I've tried to smooth that out in recent years, but it still sticks through.
The area has got a rich history. How do you think you Sonic Boom 6, sit in that rich history?
Of Manchester?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, certainly Manchester's known for, musical, it's musical exports, but I think that... I think we fit in there more in a way of, a band from a British city rather than necessarily Manchester, because I think that Manchester is certainly known for the sort of more indie rock type groups, Oasis, in Spiral Carpets, Happy Mondays, Stone Roses. But that being said, I mean, we've also got the Buzzcocks and the Happy Mondays, which we've, got a little bit of punk and dance music in there. So I think that we're definitely a product of Manchester, but I think if you line us up next to all the other Manchester bands, we stick out like a sore thumb, but, we're happy with that.
Good stuff. We just had the guest on before you was Graham Park, who was the DJ at the Hacienda. He was the last guest we had on. Obviously, the dance influences from him, you know what I mean? And obviously the Happy Mondays came through there as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're not old enough to... I went to the Hacienda once when to see Space play a free gig when I was a teenager. But obviously the legacy of the Hacienda and that whole sort of crossover between guitar music and dance music is something that's, very prevalent in Manchester. But that's something that, we've definitely taken on board, mixing guitar music and dance music together. I mean, it's a natural thing for us because it's just the kind of different music we listen to. But obviously, there's a lot of acts that kind of sit on one side of the bridge or the other. But certainly, bands like Happy Mondays have blazed a trail of kind of making those two different kind of supposedly different kinds of music, but putting them together, because you find that most people like all different kinds of music. So. There's no rule saying that bands have to stick to one or the other, which is something that we try and live out for our music.
Yeah, I was just going to actually mention the fact that I think that musical genres are becoming defunct nowadays. Yeah,
I mean, well, it's like anything. There's positives and negatives of anything. It's nice if you can, use words to describe what a band sounds like. But if you're gonna base I suppose it's a lot of younger kids kind of, rather than being fans of music in general, your music, when you first get into it, you're a fan of one style of music, and then most people, as they get a little older, kind of grow out of that way of thinking. I mean, some people don't, but a lot do. And, I think in over recent years, we've sort of noticed it, and I think the internet is a lot to do with it, but and certainly you go to a club now and it's a rock club, and they'll be playing some, Dizzy Rascal, they'll play some, they'll play some drum and bass and stuff like that, and I'm sure that happens. You'll go to a drum and bass night, and they might play something by the Specials or by the White Stripes or something.
Yeah.
It's like there is a lot more cross-pollination than there used to be, just in terms of just going to clubs and all that. So, I mean, that's a cool thing, because it means that it means that you served a wider range of different kind of stuff. It's all good in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. You've been together, Sonic Boom 6 have been together 10 years. and music's changed so dramatically. How people get music, how they access music, how they buy music. Whereas, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and early 2000s, people were just that used to just going out buying records. So it's changed so much while you've been together, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can see that with, I mean, our newest album that we just put out a couple of weeks ago, that's been, we've been doing really well with that. But in terms of our other records, our first album, that came out in 2006, sold more than our album that came out in 2007, and sold more than our album that came out in 2009. But it's not like there was any noticeable drop-off in our fan base or anything like that. It was sheerly the sheer loss of the people stopping buying CDs, and even in 2006, and 2000, and even before that, when we was doing our original EPs, selling them, you just saw that people didn't have it was just beginning the facility to just share music by digital, and people still had CD players and, like to look at the CD sleeves and all that. We really have seen that drop off in CD sales, but you've got to hope that people are aware of the fact that while nobody owes a musician a living, without some kind of financial, return for what a band are doing, a band can't carry on. So you just got to hope that people are going to start, be more responsible about downloading music legally, and just think about their role in the relationship between a musical artist and the audience, because you don't want to stand there, singing about how the world owes you a living, but at the end of the day, you can't base a whole business model on getting zero back for, your product. And, I don't want to sound like, the drummer from Metallica, but it's just, it's something that has to be addressed. And, I think that some people are beginning to address that, but it's definitely a very nuanced argument. It's not anything you're going to get across in a sentence, because, I've said stuff, that's been critical of people piracy, and I had a big backlash against me on Twitter because of that, because people kind of misinterpreted the extremes of what I was saying. So for that, I had to give away our acoustic EP. I gave that away to everybody for free, because I was saying, I'm not saying there's no place for free music and we have to get paid for everything. What I'm saying is, I was not one of these people decrying the death of Pirate Bay, because they are not the good guys. No. People giving away everybody else's product for free and making loads of money off it. They are not the good guys. And if you convince yourself that they are, then sorry, but I think you're wrong.
Unless there is something put in place, which is going to be difficult with how easy it is to download an MP3 or copy an MP3. I don't know how the turnaround is going to come, but it's got to happen, hasn't it, for the longevity of artists and bands?
Yeah, I think, because the prevailing argument with the measures that the American government and everything were trying to put in place, were there was so much future creep, there was so much that the American government could potentially do with the powers that this would grant them, and it was almost like they were just sneaking it in. And I agree that it was more important that the internet be kept free at that point than causing all this censorship in the name of protecting copyright. But really, there's so many different other things that was going on there. So I'm not saying that the answer is to treat everybody that's downloaded an album like a criminal, but personally, I still think it's a cultural thing. I think it should be taboo and frowned upon to not address the issue in terms of your own, consumption of music. And everything's shifting at the moment. It's still there's a huge sort of identity crisis and in the business model of the whole thing. So we're just small voices in the whole thing at the moment. So it's going to play out how it plays out. But I think that the technology, I don't think anyone's going to stop it using technology, it's going to be I think it's going to be more of a cultural thing.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone needs to take their own responsible take on it, really. You're now signed to Extra Mile, who look after some great people, Ben Marwood and Frank Turner, to name two. And you've released this new single, haven't you, called Virus?
Yeah.
We've been playing it. We're going to play it in a minute, but we'll talk a little bit about that. So how different has it been signed to Extra Mile for you?
Well, it's been awesome. We basically, the last couple of albums we put them out on our own label. So you've not got a label there at all. So just the whole thing. I mean, this morning I was had a phone conversation about having to pay for a certain thing that normally because we start a tour tomorrow, so there was this expense that was going to be going out, and it was like, oh God, how are we going to pay for it? And then we just went, actually, there's a guy at the label that can potentially do that for free, and it's a saving of hundreds of pounds. I mean, that's just one example of where you go, oh God, like, we've got that support there. And it's been amazing. We've had they helped us, make the video. They've put out the CD in the format we want. They've made us feel part of that family and an important part of the whole Extra Mile roster. It's been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, we were hoping that the whole point of doing it, of being with a label, is for them to have an extra team and an extra sort of set of eyes and ears to help you along. And obviously you're giving away a certain financial aspect of your CDs and your record sales, but we're hoping that the trade-off of that is that the extra help and the extra exposure by being with a good label and their expertise and their experience within creating and breaking artists is something that more than outweighs the fact that you might not get the same return for the CD that you've been selling yourself. But because we've tried that route, and we're hugely proud of our achievements from being what was at the time just a punk band in the UK punk scene to we went places and we did loads and loads of good things, and we toured the world, but it was all off the back of our own label and our own little crowd. And it's hopefully with the new album we can break onto new put new places, and Extra Mile can help us do that.
Yeah, I do believe that. Are you going out on tour, like you've said? You're at Rock City and Nottingham tomorrow, and you're in Manchester on Sunday doing a bit of a homecoming gig, aren't you? Yeah, that'll be good. That's going to be good. Yeah, the ticket sales for that are looking good, and across the whole tour, because we've not toured in quite a while, and the new album's out. Seems to be a lot of excitement for it, and the ticket sales are good. So, I mean, I'd recommend if anyone's thinking of coming down to grab a ticket and come down and, have a party with us. We've got Imperial Leisure supporting us, who are a great sort of ska pop, hip hop band from London, who are really similar vibes to us sort of live in terms of just let's get a party, let's have a good time, let's smile and go for it. And then across the whole tour, we've got other supports that we've sort of hand selected. And we've been involved with putting every lineup together. If the promoter comes and says, well, we want this band, we check them out first and make sure that that's going to give everybody a good night, and we've got a real eclectic mix across the board. So I think that it's going to be the best tour we've ever done. Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, thanks for coming on the phone today. I'm sorry about the bad connection. I'm glad we've soldiered on through it because it was a great chat.
Oh no, that's fine, mate. It's like I can make it out. It's all good. It's and that's no problem at all.
Yeah, a learning curve for you. Would you like to introduce the single Virus? We're going to play it right now.
Will do. Yes, you guys are listening to Virus by Sonic Boom 6. I am Barney Boom, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, mate. Bye bye.
Nice one, mate. Thanks. Bye.
Broadcasting to Stoke-on-Trent and the world. This is Six Towns Radio.